Hi guys, so today I'm making a video to discuss progesterone in recurrent miscarriage. So the Royal College of Obstetricians and Gynecologists say that there's insufficient evidence in their paper that progesterone would help prevent a miscarriage. Some studies suggested it would and some suggested that it wouldn't. And the most recent trial, the PROMISE trial, which was a massive trial involving 826 women, suggested that there was no difference clinically. I think there was a 2.5% difference in the number of live births between women that took progesterone and women that didn't take progesterone, the women that took the placebo, to prevent recurrent miscarriage. Okay, so I think there's an error in this clinical trial and in this thought process around progesterone. Okay, so for me, a lot of my miscarriages were very early first trimester miscarriages. So things were already going wrong by the time I got my first positive pregnancy test. Now, the PROMISE trial involved people taking cyclogest or a progesterone supplement from their first positive pregnancy test. So if things were already failing to implant and things were already failing by that first positive pregnancy test, surely it's too late to start the drug to have an effect. My successful pregnancy that I've recently had, so my only live birth, my little girl, came after I changed quite a few things, but one of the things I did do was I took high dose progesterone, in fact twice the amount they recommend in the PROMISE trial. So I took 800 milligrams of cyclogest, that's 400 milligrams twice a day. And I'm not recommending that you do this, I'm just saying this is what I did. I took 400 milligrams twice a day, and I did it from 3 days past ovulation. So given that implantation occurs at about 6 to 7 days past ovulation, now I knew when I ovulated based on luteinizing hormone LH ovulation test strips, which you can buy in a pound shop. So I looked for a positive peak. I know that once you have a positive peak on a ovulation test, you're only talking 24 to 36 hours later that you'll ovulate, and then implantation occurs about 6 days after ovulation. So I started my progesterone 3 days post ovulation, so probably about 4 days after a positive ovulation test. So I continued this all the way through the pregnancy. Now the recommendations are that it should be stopped at like between 12 and 16 weeks, but given that I didn't know whether I'd have a preterm labour, I decided to continue taking it, because in later pregnancy it's used to prevent preterm labour. In fact, I did go into preterm labour at 35 weeks taking the cyclogest. I didn't actually prevent it, but at least I got to 35 weeks. So my views, and so my personal views, this is not what's recommended medically, because clearly the PROMISE trial suggests that it doesn't prevent recurrent miscarriage. I think maybe another trial needs to be done to look at using progesterone before people know they're pregnant. And yet I get the fact that it will stop you having a period, possibly, if you're not pregnant. So you need to test to know that you're not pregnant, which is what they do in IVF anyway. If it's not a successful implantation, then they will withdraw the progesterone. So why not try it? Because it has no negative effects on the pregnancy, and that's been proven in the PROMISE trial. There isn't any implications to the fetus for you to take progesterone. So if it doesn't work, well, it's not work, but at least it's worth a shot, right? For me, when I have my next child, I'll take progesterone again from 3 to 4 days past ovulation.